Today we're talking about one of the most glamorous design styles of all time, and that's Art Deco design. Deco, yes, there's a proper way to say it. I mess it up a lot, but you know what I'm talking about. Now, Art Deco as a whole is more than just a style. It's pretty much the visual embodiment of the Roaring '20s. Now, this style is meant to impress, and it still does to this very day. You've likely seen this style in architecture like the Chrysler Building, in classic travel posters, jewelry furniture, and especially in luxury product packaging. To help bring this look into your own designs, I want you to understand 6 core components or characteristics. And I'm going to dive into these, but let's first cover a quick background to understand the context behind this style. So Art Deco emerged most notably in the 1920s and 30s, but it even has roots as far back as 1910. Now, it had a debut in 1925 in an art exhibit in Paris going by this very long name that I cannot pronounce, and I will put it here on the screen for you. And you might tell by this last part, this is where we get our famous name, Arts Decoratifs, or Art Deco for short. Now, at the same time, this was the Jazz Age, the Roaring Jazz Age, a period of technological innovation, of global exploration, and cultural obsession with progress and change. People wanted to leave behind that ornate, flowing design look and feel of Art Nouveau and embrace something sleek and more modern, but still elegant. This style combined craftsmanship and machine-age precision. Designers were inspired by the new technologies, by skyscrapers and luxury travel. You can think ocean liners and airplanes, but they also borrowed motifs from the past, and most all of the design styles do this, specifically ancient cultures of Egypt, Greece, and the Aztecs, and it's hard to overstate how influential Art Deco has become even today. It dominated architecture, interior design, fashion, jewelry, and of course, graphic design. Theaters, hotels, department stores all adopted this aesthetic, and it gave an entire new style and identity to cities. I'm sure you can picture this. You can imagine the gold-framed elevator doors with intricate line work, deep ruby carpets leading down the hallway, layered chandeliers, and maybe some wood paneling walls and hand-painted grid patterns. In printed design, you're going to see it on everything like posters, book covers, menus, flyers, advertisements. It was meant to feel fresh and cutting edge at whatever product that was being advertised. And if you're interested in studying the style more, you can check out some of the films like Allied, The Great Gatsby, and The Rocketeer, and shows like Miss Fisher's Murder Mysteries. Even The Legend of Korra draws inspiration from it. And just as an aside, Avatar: The Last Airbender is the original and way better show in every single way, but The Legend of Korra's world building is actually pretty awesome. All right, so we know the history now. Let's go ahead and break down those 6 key characteristics that I think define Art Deco. So listen closely, because understanding these is going to give you the tools you need to go in and design with authenticity and stay confident that your design matches the style. The first characteristic is geometry and symmetry. Art Deco is all about bold, geometric shapes arranged in perfectly balanced compositions. You're going to notice things like chevrons, zigzags, sunbursts, and stepped forms. In architecture, these might mean a layered, tiered skyscraper silhouette like the Chrysler Building I mentioned earlier, and in interior design, this could mean things like those layered lights or chairs with those shell-like structures. And if we loop back to the Jazz Age, I can even see a visual connection between the geometric lines of the art styles and the lines of instruments like a trombone or trumpets, for example, which also are usually gold. So in terms of graphic design, you can recreate the iconic structure of Art Deco by building layouts with strong grids, using sharp lines, framing your elements, and making intricate shapes for depth and dimension. We even have a ton of these in Kittl for you to check out over in our Elements panel. All right, number 2, let's talk about ornamentation. Art Deco loves decoration, but it is very precise, controlled, and again, symmetrical. Not the flowing organic lines of Art Nouveau that you might be thinking of. This ornamentation often draws from machine imagery like gears, streamlined curves, and even stylized Egyptian or Aztec looking patterns. To recreate this in your own designs, you can use repeating motifs and decorative borders. You can add ornamental elements like sunbursts or intricate line work to frame your typography or imagery. And again, we have a ton of these elements that are available for you in Kittl that you can basically just click in and start using. The key is to make it always look intentional and balanced and never cluttered. So yes, we do see a lot of luxury branding, but I've specifically been seeing this a lot on packaging for things like men's shaving or skincare products. I think it might be because it gives the product a luxurious look and a cool vintage feel, and there might be an image of real sophisticated looking gentleman with a cool twirled mustache that kind of leans back into that old aesthetic. I mean, there's a ton of other places we still see deco ornamentation on packaging and products, definitely things like gin or whiskey bottles, for example. Packaging for jewelry is another good one. Women's skincare products also use this style, and it's just a really great, beautiful choice. All right, number 3 is the color palette. Art Deco uses colors that feel luxurious and dramatic, and it's pretty much black and gold. Those are iconic. You're gonna see those rich jewel tones, maybe some emerald green, sapphire blue, ruby red, and they're all gonna be paired with metallic accents. In interiors, this was done with materials like brass, marble, and lacquer. In graphic design, you can achieve this same effect with high contrast color schemes, metallic textures, gradients that mimic that reflective surface, and then you're going to want to go for obviously that iconic black and gold pairing. Or you can pair deep saturated colors with bright highlights to create that sense of richness and depth. Next up, number 4 is typography. This is a huge part of Art Deco's identity, and there are a few different style options that are super common. Most traditionally, they're elongated sans serif, graceful, curvy fonts. This is a more minimalistic look, and with another common style, they have inline details, drop shadows, or decorative serifs combined with it. A third look is even more decorated with italicized, flowing letter forms, and this pairs really well with the first style I mentioned, as you can see right here. And we also have a ton of these fonts available for you in Kittl. You can simply type in something like vintage over in the search bar, or you can search serif, or you can search something like Art Deco, and you can get all of these fonts that are going to be perfect for your 1920s and 30s inspired designs. And so you're going to want to opt for typefaces that feel kind of tall and architectural, but you also might need to consider your layout and your text and how that's going to influence the overall design. The trick is to use the type as a design element and not just as text being thrown on a page. It should be a part of your composition's structure. All right, number 5 is scale and drama. Art Deco designs are meant to make a statement. In architecture, that means towering buildings and grand facades. In graphic design, that can mean bold, oversized, or minimal typography, intricate geometric shapes, and mesmerizing patterns in the background. When you're designing in this style, don't be afraid to go big with your patterns, but make sure everything is clean and tidy. You can choose to let your type or your shapes dominate the composition and create a sense of that visual impact. And the trick with this one is to just ensure that you're keeping everything balanced. Remember, symmetry is really important, because while the style is dramatic and decorative, it's not cluttered. So the structure and balance is going to keep it clean. All right, number 6, the last up, we're going to talk about cultural influences. And I briefly mentioned this earlier, that Art Deco combines global inspirations from Egyptian motifs, even Greco-Roman forms, African patterns, Aztec designs. So for your designs, you can incorporate structured patterns and symbols inspired by different cultures. Utilize them as borders or accents or entire backgrounds to give your design that layered, worldly feel while still keeping it geometric and modern. So to create your Art Deco designs, I want you to practice combining those 6 features together. If you're ready to get started, by the way, I'd recommend that you start building a strong grid for your composition and plan the layout. Then you can choose a bold, high contrasting color palette, then make your typography the star of the show. After that, you can add some of those ornamental details, you can layer up your shapes to level the design up, but remember, you just want to keep it clean. So it's bold, it's elegant, and it's proof that you can take something historical or vintage and make it modern and fresh. And if you've made it this far in the video, you have got the foundation you need to start designing. And if you're ready to give it a try, you can find tons of Deco-inspired templates, assets, elements, fonts in Kittl, from geometric poster templates that are in that Deco style to Deco typefaces. Everything you are looking for is right in one place, and I want you to give it a try. All you have to do is sign up below. It's completely free to get started. You can check out some of our previous videos where we go over making Art Deco designs. And drop a comment down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what you think about Art Deco. Are you going to be using this style for something specific? Are you working on branding? Are you working on a wedding invitation? What is it that you're working on that you might be wanting to get better at this design style? Now, don't forget to subscribe to the channel here. This really helps us out a ton, and it allows you to make sure that you don't miss any upcoming videos just like this one. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.